Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11. And of course, we're playing as Germany. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Love to see you around here more often. Okay. So now, well, these guys definitely. I guess we're just going to move everybody. And we'll move a couple of torpedo boats. Give a little bit more depth of unit. We got those guys here. You can come down to here. And now, okay, let's see. Armored engineers, okay. Put those on board too. We'll attach you to them. Let's even put you on board. You on board. Well, we might as well. Keep those battle commanders. Okay. Who are we gonna kick off? Okay. There we go. Come over here. We have some guys up here. Bomber command. Okay, that is 7 units. Okay. Oh, how many? 8 units. 2 can prepare here. Okay, so they're a little over stocked as it is. Okay, there we go. That would be 7, 10, 5. Okay, so let's select these two. Rebase. The fighters may be able to get from there. Or the dive bombers, I should say. Not fighters. Okay, that can handle almost any amount. Leaguer Corps B. No, okay, you're already in theater. You're already in theater. So are you. Ground attack. Okay, that's happening up north. We'll leave that going. We'll stop you. Too many units here. You can't repair, so you come back down to here to repair. There we go. There's Kessler News. One. Oh, those big bunch of medium bombers there. 8. That should be able to make it. I think we'll leave our. Oh, we might as well. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting that into the right area. They're coming here. You guys can come down here to also help intercept. Repair 15 units, there are 11, so we can get you down here as well. Okay, that's good pre-planning. Oh, we also have a few other things here. Yes, because I've seen the way Revolverheld has been doing some of his scripted invasions of sticking the units, dropping them here, but without turning over the province control. I love that Revolverheld. Great, good work. Because of that, I am willing to order defenses of Norway, which I presume at some point means after the U.S. entry into the war, Hitler ordered the OKW to prepare defenses in Norway. It was regarded that an Allied invasion to cut off Germany from the supply of vital resources of Scandinavia would be very likely for the spring or summer of 42. The decision will trigger events leading to OOBs with the historical combat units as well as air, land, and sea units. Okay, great. As well as I think we will be seeing Atlantic Wall elements here eventually. Okay, you come around there to attack those partisans. Prepare the defense of Northern Europe. Okay. Yeah. Another 2.5% off. You're winning, but just taking a bit. Okay, CAG fighter focus is advanced. Okay, so our CAGs are pretty good at fighting off aircraft. Yeah, anti-aircraft fire control. Our outgoing carrier will improve that. And somebody stole our blueprints. Okay. We'll get there first, and looks like they avoided whatever that was out there. Good. What is this? Oh, it was a Moss boat, or it's this little teeny submarine I saw out there, midget submarine that somehow got there by an event. The British, I presume. Again, if that was a British event, Revolverheld dealing with the sub needs to have a check for control of the province. Okay, Walter von Reichenau dies. Walter von Reichenau, the infamous for the Reichenau order, suffered a cerebral hemorrhage, and it was decided to fly him from Poltava to the hospital in Leipzig. The plane made an emergency landing in a field. That Reichenau died of a heart attack. Okay, this was somewhere on the Eastern Front at the time, but this is a Third Reich event. And like Ermoli guy, who just basically died of old age, I'm sure there was a medical... I mean, they just sort of write it off as old age. I'm sure it was a heart attack or something, I don't know. But I've stuck with deaths that could, generally have happened anywhere. I think he may have actually been jogging or something at the time. And I'm sure stress of combat and whatnot probably contributed to things. But we could see this whether he's fighting in the Eastern Front, or if he's fighting in Africa, or if he's holding down a garrison post in France, having a heart attack and dying. So we lose him as a general. So I've sort of stuck with ones that seem to be happening wherever, whenever, not based upon specific event requirements for deaths. I like the idea of Rommel dying. And, oh, Revolverheld, if you're watching, Django, let me know. And I haven't PM'd you yet. No, or maybe I have by the time I release this. He commented that... he didn't have the I think the option for the Hitler's orders or whatever, I forget which things for sure, but there was no assassination attempt against Hitler, the July plot in 44. But even though that didn't happen, there was still, he reported, because I haven't got there, Rommel dies because of it. So you need a check at the Rommel death event that there was an attempt on Hitler's life and that it failed, and then you can have Rommel die. Okay, what do we see here? Okay, fighters going after them. Good. Shooting them up. Good. You're doing your job. Intelligence on British bombing strategy. We have credible information that Churchill ordered the RAF Bomber Command to launch a very destructive campaign against our cities. We need to strengthen our air defenses. Hard to believe. Okay. We will shift our our fighters back up there once we get this Malta thing sorted out to one solution or another. Because you know, 2 garrisons, 4 anti-aircraft, engineers, light armor. They did have some very light tanks on Malta at the time. Sort of distinctive in pictures in that they're sort of basically white with black odd outlines, make them look like white stacks of white rocks, walls kind of thing. Okay, Bulgaria, I don't know what good you're gonna do me as an ally here. Okay, been waiting for this to happen. Again, I've had at some point when I've selected it, it still shows up, so I wait for this. I intentionally not select it until we get the notification that you haven't selected it. National recruiting policy. Don't quite think I'm ready to go for, let's put a open the ranks to everybody, 75% manpower, plus you get a bunch of junky militia units. No, 25% good starting experience. And airborne mixed support, yay, finally, that's taken forever. I think that was a one and done, so good. We need to start doing those. And let's produce, I know we're producing a lot of stuff, but let's produce 3 mix airborne support. You are, okay. Airborne, basically it's airborne artillery. But it's mixed support in that it's also some anti-tank. It's not just, and maybe some anti-aircraft, don't know. But it's not just straight artillery. Trying to do an airborne artillery, an airborne anti-tank, and you know, because we also already have the airborne engineers. So this is just that, and I believe this is different than this mixed support type thing, but maybe not. Let's see there. Is it this? No, airborne mixed support brigade. Well, maybe we will get to upgrade these things. And maybe it does include engineers and whatnot. I don't know. I think it's just, well, it used to just be various artillery type support elements. Okay, now I'm not planning on invading with the Corps headquarters, but I wanted it close enough to be within range for the HQ to be within range. If that's in range. Okay, and is this in range? Yes, good. Okay, so now we've lost those negative effects. Oh, what are we facing here? Just a lot of fighters, some strategic bombers. There's some Italians, the 11th Gruppo bomber, whatever, naval bombers. Okay, you get up there and air intercept. You attack the channel there, or the ocean, because right now I'm mainly using you guys to concentrate on any Royal Navy types that want to come in and sink, well, anything. My carrier, my battleship. Could even be the subs coming out. Medium bombers. Close air support. Closely escorted by some. Make sure these guys are coming to the area. Oh, wrong key. I'll look at what I'm doing. Leave those S boats right where they are. And he needs a promotion. There we go. So that is our invasion force. We've been watching the Italians fail and fail and fail. We're going to see if we can do a little better. I'm leaving a little bit of cushion, so if we have a little bit of losses in ships due to air or naval attacks, we won't have losses in units. And we are doing this without paratroopers at the moment. Partially because, well, we do have the Flieger Corps up here, but we want to be able to retreat. I don't want to, and so I have to have some more. And I could have some. We may be doing that in the near future. Okay, ooh, we're bombing those submarines, good. Hard for regular bombers to find submarines, so it's hard for maybe anybody, but... Oh, I forgot. Keep doing this. Send the guy up here. Just come out, come here, because I don't want him to go. German intelligence reports first Washington Conference. The first meeting between the United Kingdom and the United States after the U.S. officially entered the war determined to concentrate Allied efforts on a defeat of Germany first, before turning to Japan, a European theater of operations was envisioned to organize combined both military resources. Organize and combine both military resources. Well, I don't know. It was agreed to transfer U.S. Air Forces to Great Britain to join a strategic air campaign against us. The Royal Navy reinforcements were dispatched to the Pacific theater of the war. Okay, interesting. No, it looks like they're invading too. Well, so we're joining their invade. Oh, and now they're using some fascist militia, which may be part of the reason why they're not getting very far on it. We've got light infantry. Now maybe we should be sending in armor or something. I don't know. Okay, well, Weiss looks like he took over. Okay, artillery production has advanced. Great. Great. 44, yeah, that's way too far into the future. Let's move this over to support weapons. Why not? One of those needs to be done. And U-boat pen in Lorient is constructed. Kermoran submarine base was a German U-boat base located in Lorient during World War II. Gross Admiral Karl Donitz decided to build the base on the 28th June 1940. Between February 41 and January 42, 3 gigantic reinforced concrete structures were built on the Cormoran Peninsula. They were called K1, K2, and K3. In 44, work began on a fourth structure. The base was capable of sheltering 30 submarines under cover. Although Lorient was heavily damaged by the Allied bombing raids, the naval base survived through the end of the war. Lorient was held until May 45 by the German army, though surrounded by the American army. The Germans refused to surrender. Now I'm pretty sure it's also a picture from Das Boot. Good movie if you want to find out about the German war experience. I'm also pretty sure the Americans weren't really, the soldiers and even the commanders of the force weren't really looking to, die taking the airbase. Hey, you're there, you're locked up, you're fine. We're gonna go. The real army, the real fight is the drive to Berlin. So, there's that going on. Just one sort of trivia thing is they definitely did U-boat assembly, putting U-boats together here as well as repair. And they had, it's like this shows a pen like this, and one of them. Then they had a pen that was, or a big concrete building. It was like behind this one or something. I don't know if this is actually Lorient base or computer generation accurate of the Lorient base or whatnot, but I've seen some photos. That was a building that was behind it, not attached to the ocean. That was a heavy concrete structure, and they had a rail system between the two buildings in which you would, that would suspend would take a submarine, out of the water and sort of slide it between, or however you want to, between the two buildings. Well, that was the early thing, and they figured out, and you could bomb the rail system and destroy it, and you could rebuild it, but it would take considerable amount of time because it's a fairly big structure, and put it out of operation. So the later production, I think that was maybe K1 or something, I don't know, but later structures, they had them all contiguous to, so you'd bring in and by rail structure I mean sort of like a roller coaster rail, a thing suspended in the air in which maybe guided on some rollers, but would move the submarine, sort of a bit high off the ground, not super high, but enough, because obviously when you're looking at this, you're looking at 10% of the U-boat, most of it's underwater, so you need a big suspension thing. But all of them, you can just do a standard railroad connection to the back to bring in the chunks of it, things that you can, you can put a conning tower kind of thing and other big sections of it on regular railroad cars. bring them in by, by train from Germany or wherever, and then assemble them. Doing a lot of work here, but doing mostly what I call assembly work here, and do that under there, and then just have those in a underwater, because the idea was to pull them up and out of the water to do serious work and or construction on them, and that where the later ones were you could sail the boats in and out of the water so that they weren't vulnerable to, yes, you can drop mines, you can bomb here, but you can clear them out, and it's not so good. Okay, so again, I like this. We have a choice. Yeah, anti-aircraft guns, naval base, shipyards. We can afford the supplies. So good. I like that it's a fixed cost as opposed to another percentage. Percentage of what? Yeah, we can sort of, kind of, maybe, but maybe I was already defeating the Soviet Union by now and whatnot. So, okay, so we are going in here. They've got an armored division. They're Centauro. That's, as in the centaur, the animal. I recognize that divisional symbol. And you got, because there was like some fascist militia ship unit there that may be more right here and there, that are probably not great assaulters of fortified islands. Well, Weiss is in command. That's good. He's got to be better than, well, I presume he's better than whoever the Italian is. Bridging equipment advance. Good. That's great. That way we can get across rivers faster. Rivers are major. Slowing up, and we will shift that to here. Infantry guns. Bridging equipment. Advanced armored designs have advanced. Repetitive. Okay, self-propelled artillery brigade and sloped armor 2. Okay. No. So here, sloped armored. So we can do that. 42. Yes, we want to do sloped armored. Just, oh, did we stop that? Well, yes, we will stop that. So we're switching over to sloped armored. We'll be back. Maybe even before 43, but if not before, probably by 43, or sometime during 43. Nav, tactics advanced. Okay, that's good. We want to get over here to get all of our infantry up and going. British raids the Adriatic, Italy. Okay, well, I hope these will stop once we get Axis convoys, and these should stop, of course, because the way they talk about them. Once we get Malta, I'm getting more confident, especially now that we've coordinated unknowingly with the Italians, which means their fleet is also here. Look at all those battleships. So they're coming ashore with those and support. And they've lost their X-Craft. Those are cool, but they just don't work in the game. I've never successfully had them sink anything. Because the Germans get some stuff. And I put them out here in the past and built a bunch. Tried to sink, they should have very short range. But they did have success. Not huge success. Now, they weren't done in huge numbers. And they were also done in sort of in desperation situations, when the Allies had almost complete air superiority and had almost complete naval superiority. That's why they were using these desperation measures, as opposed to the sort of British they were using of the X-Craft in going after the Tirpitz and whatnot. Is that generally the British did have naval superiority. It's just getting into the protected natural harbor for Tirpitz kind of thing. Or the Italians, which you had going after Malta, which they did from Spain covertly, and then actually sinking, I forget which battleship, in in Alexandria. The Italians didn't know they sunk one, but they did. They came in. They're now those frogmen, but they did come in on submarines that they rode. They were out in the water, but rode the things into the port. Sort of manned torpedoes, if you will, but not contact ones, and dropped off the stuff. And they sunk the battleship. I forget which one, but some of the Italians got away, and some of the Italians got captured. None of the Italians knew they sunk the battleship because the battleship settled about like 6 to 10 feet, and their Mediterranean I don't think is tidal, so it doesn't change much at all. So it just had clearance on the bottom, but until it sunk, and then it goes down, and the British just sort of kept on going. Hey, yeah, keep pretending you're afloat and you're good, so that the Italians will be worried that the battleship will sortie at any moment to go interrupt convoys and whatnot, and so they just kept up the facade because there were definite agents ashore and aerial reconnaissance crafts spotting it there, and flying the flags, everybody sort of pretending, even from the shore, trying to keep everybody locally, including a lot of the British people, sailors and whatnot. Obviously everyone on the ship knew that they had been sunk, but for once, loose lips sink ships. You'll see a lot of those U.S. posters about convoy sailings and whatnot. Well, there really weren't nearly as many German people out there listening to talk about the convoys, and they probably could have blabbed and blabbed and blabbed in America about all the details of all the convoys, and in Germany probably would have never gotten any of that information because there really wasn't the spy networks that people, as we've seen in this series, there were a few, but they got rolled up pretty quick and they were basically non-existent. So probably that wouldn't have affected in the U.S., but here that would have affected. Had it got out to the general population, there was enough spies in and around Alexandria that would have got that information to the Italians and the Germans that the ship was sunk. Of course, at some point, once it was no longer a desperation system and they could be seen fixing it, because it wasn't huge amount of damage, but just opened up enough compartments to put it on the bottom. They did refloat it, and it worked just fine. And a bunch of even the lower compartments, were able to get the watertight doors closed. I mean, they weren't able, because boom, it was a surprise, and they weren't set up for it, so they weren't able to get everything closed up right at first. But they got enough closed that most of the powder magazines and all the gunnery stuff was sealed up and wasn't damaged at all. So yes, Spain, you can have supplies. And the Japanese obviously used so I think it was 3 midget submarines on the initial attack of Pearl Harbor. So you can use commando naval operations like those that we were just talking about, not in a desperation situation, but in a situation to get really good advantage. Okay, what do we know about? Okay, I'm not seeing heavy shipping, and I'm seeing, so we're going to move these over to ground attack. Like they did historically. And since we also have the British navies, or the Italian navies, helping us out, I think it would be more profitable to ground attack aggressively. Hopefully not suicidally. Hopefully you'll all quit your attacks. We're going to let the naval specialists continue being specialists. Hopefully quit before your units are destroyed, but come in and concentrate until you sort of lost your organization levels. Okay. We'll see about using our heavy bombers as well for ground attack. They may not do so well, but now would be the time to shut down their... Yeah. You can see they're being gutted fast by the air power, but by the anti-air. Well, look like they help a little bit, but not much. Yeah, after this attack, you go home. You're expensive. You don't need to be destroyed. Okay, I have not seen this before. Okay, the tripartite conference in Berlin, the tripartite pact, stipulated the establishment of 3 joint technical commissions to coordinate the Axis partners. They were to consist of general commissions in each capital, consisting of a host foreign minister and 2 other partners ambassadors. Under the general commission were to be military and economic commissions. On the 15th of December 1941, the first meeting of all 3 commissions in one capital, Berlin, took place, labeled as the Tripartite Pact Conference. It was decided there to form a permanent council of the Tripartite Pact powers, but nothing happened for 2 months. Only the Italians, whom the Japanese mistrusted, pushed for greater collaboration. On the 18th of January 1942, the German and Italian governments signed 2 secret operational agreements, one with the Imperial Japanese Army and the other with the Imperial Japanese Navy. These agreements divided the world along latitude 70 east into 2 major operational zones, but it had almost no military significance. Chiefly, it committed the powers to cooperate in matters of commerce, intelligence, and communication. On the 24th of February 1942, the Permanent Council met under chairmanship of Ribbentrop, who announced, "The propaganda effect is one of the main reasons for our meeting." The representatives set up a propaganda commission and then adjourned indefinitely. The military commission in Berlin met only 2 or 3 times by 1943, and there were no trilateral naval talks at all. Germany and Japan conducted several naval discussions, and Italy consulted the Japanese independently for its planned assault on Malta, okay, which we're doing. Yeah, now Japan says, and I think the distrust of Italy wasn't so much distrusting whether they were in the Axis or not. Obviously, they changed sides at some point, but it was more of a distrust, I'm guessing, of intelligence codes, and there was some leakage of Italian intelligence codes to the Americans, I believe. But the biggest leaks were the Japanese. They were the leakers. You know, they were being informed of what Germany was doing, and then radioing that information to Tokyo, and then the U.S. was listening to that, so they got all that really good intel. Oh, mixed airborne support choices. Okay, so we have that now, so let's... I think we get all 3. Well, let's quickly look beforehand, just in case we don't get or all 4 or something. So I guess it is now part of this mixed support doohickey. We definitely want artillery. We already sort of have engineers, but we'll see. I don't know if we're going to do armor. Let's see if there's a different unit type for that. Okay. Okay, so let's read about this. This event allows you to choose 2 upgrade groups for your airborne mixed support brigades. Once chosen, they will be the only techs available to research. Each group can be selected only once. If you miss, click or forget you picked You pick before, don't panic. You redirect previous. Okay, warning completely done this section after picking the fourth group, confirming that it's your final step will be involved. Okay, that's the generic warning. Now, I think I'm just looking to see here. I think the special purpose armor is still air transportable. I'm going to presume so. Okay, so I'm going to presume so, and we may find out not, but I'm going to presume so. Okay, so let's start here. Looks like we get 2 of the 4. We want artillery. You picked airborne artillery. Okay, let's do a second one. And I'm gonna go motorcycle recon. Hopefully this won't be too big of a thing. And before we do this, we've already been able to build. Oh hell. Well, that crashed this. And that was probably me clicking on this while in the middle of this thing here, and then doing that. So thanks for watching. We'll be back for more.